Warning: this video contains possible spoilers and bad fan art. Viewer discretion is advised. 2 years ago, information about two new Pokémon games were leaked. These games were then called Pokémon Plus and Minus. These were, however, prototype names. At the time, this information was swept under the rug and seen as fake. Now, I don't know how, but I came across this information from that leak not too long ago. And the more I read it, the more I realized how the information leaked involving Plus and Minus fits into the little we know about Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, before I talk about how this Plus and Minus information could be linked to Sun and Moon, a little background is needed. First off, according to this 2-year-old leak, these new games are supposed to take place in Southeast Asia, in the Indonesia, Philippines, and Thailand area. Now, this is a tropical area of the world, and it would match the theorized climate Sun and Moon are taking place in. Now, this is the biggest article of information that caused me to make this video to begin with. The very thing that made me go against all the theories I've been supporting to bring you this. This picture is the hotel/resort we saw in the teaser back at the end of February. Now this image is of the Raffles Hotel in Singapore, which if you don't know is also in Southeast Asia. You can see how similar the architecture of the building is to the drawing. Now, this really is the only hard evidence linking Plus and Minus to Sun and Moon, though I also want to add as a side note that there are raffle hotels and resorts all over the world, including many of the places theorized Sun and Moon will take place in. Now, the next set of information I want to talk about are the legendary Pokemon Plus and Minus. According to the leak, the legendaries are a Shifu lion, which are also known as the Guardian Lions. I am sure you've seen those before. And its typing is supposed to be a psychic and ground typing and have many heads or faces. Here is the interesting thing. Lions are one of the many animals that are related to the sun in certain mythologies. Now, I know that typing isn't what one would think of when thinking of a sun Pokemon, but I'll address this later. The other legendary Pokemon is a ghost fairy typing that looks like a hurricane with many arms and is supposed to be able to shapeshift. Ghost and Fairy typing would fit the Moon Pokemon easily, and even with what it's supposed to look like, it just almost has that astral feel to it, being, well, like a sort of hurricane kind of thing. Now, we must remember that this leak was over 2 years ago. Not only can this information be wrong, things could have changed since then, like the typings with the legendary Pokemon, for example. But this wouldn't be the first time something was leaked years before and it became true. I remember before Black and White 2 came out, there was a leak talking about a new Pokemon type being added to the game, and a good handful of past Pokemon would be retyped as this new type. And even that was poo-pooed, but look what happened. We have Fairy Pokemon now. So it is possible this leak from 2 years ago could be accurate as well. The next part are the starters according to the 2-year-old leak. Now, I know there are a lot of fan art of these, but I was in a creative mood and I drew up some interpretations of these starters. Now, please keep in mind that they only talk about the first and final evolutions of these Pokemon, so there will only be 2 pictures for each Pokemon. The grass starter starts as a weak plant and would become a palm tree like grass and electric type Pokemon. My interpretation of this was a little palm sapling using its roots to move around. In its final form being a palm tree, I gave it more of a feminine priestess vibe. It still uses its roots to move around, but I envisioned this Pokemon as a bulky, high defense support Pokemon. The fire type would be a goat according to the leak, which stays true to the Zodiac theory, by the way. But in the end, its final form would be Fire and Fairy, which would be mind-blowing as a starter, honestly. However, I did not know how to interpret a goat to be a fairy, so I just drew a fire goat. I drew this in the mindset that it would be a fast, heavy hitter, a very physical Pokemon. And finally, the water Pokemon was very strange. It was described as a Pokemon with a teardrop-shaped head with a jug attached to its head as well. And it was also described as humanoid. This was a very strange description, so I took some liberty in its design, going for a water spirit kind of look. In its final form, it would be a water steel type and would have grown a second set of arms to help hold up its head. I drew this thinking it would be a heavy special attacker with balanced stats and the other stats. Balanced other stats. You know what I mean. Could these be the starters of Pokemon Sun and Moon? Could Plus and Minus be Pokemon Sun and Moon? There is evidence to put weight into this theory. Though it may be far-fetched, anything is possible. Like I said, the leak of a new type being added was thought to be fake, and look what happened. It could turn that Plus and Minus are Pokemon Sun and Moon. At this point, anything is possible, as we won't be getting any hard evidence for a few more days. What do you think of this theory? Did I dig up a dead leak for no reason? Or could it be possible that these games we will be getting at the end of the year will be these games talked about in a leak from 2 years ago? Only time will tell, I guess. Like and share the video and follow me on Twitter for updates on anything and everything Pokemon. This has been Black Phoenix. Thanks for watching.